A family man, an Air Force officer, vanishes into thin air.
We were supposed to have a get-together.
His family had a cookout scheduled that he responded that he would be there and never showed up.
A police investigation leads to ghastly discoveries.
Him and his uncle had even laughed, "I wonder whose grave we're digging."
He said that he was going to first put some dirt around it because he said he was good at that kind of stuff.
And a criminal trial exposes a mastermind whose evil strains the limits of belief.
A Hollywood screenwriter could make something like this up.
This is a creative criminal, somebody who will stop at nothing to get what they want.
No sense of right or wrong whatsoever.
I have never seen a case like this.
Quite possibly the most dangerous, egotistical, diabolical person I've ever dealt with.
It was astonishing.
October 12, 2007. It's an ordinary afternoon at police headquarters in the Dallas suburb of Garland, Texas. But this routine day is soon disrupted by the arrival of two agents from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, we're here to check on a property.
They were investigating a default on a veteran's loan.
Sergeant Doss, can you help them?
Yeah, sure. Come on back here so we can get it for you.
They had gone to the house and contacted a person who had rented the house, had found out that the house was being foreclosed on, and some suspicious circumstances caused them to come to the police department and have us get involved with them.
The homeowner in question is Michael Giles, a retired and decorated NCO for the United States Air Force, whose pending default is cause for concern.
Michael is very disciplined. As far as with his money, as far as with his lifestyle, as far as with his organization, the things that he went through in his life. He's very organized. He was never late on anything. Everything was always up to par and paid.
Michael Giles never missed a VA payment in his life on his home.
This is sister. I hope this helps.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
When authorities track down Michael's sister Gwen, they are in for a surprise.
Thanks, Miss Haney, for your accommodations.
Oh, sure. No problem.
They asked me the last time I had any contact with my brother, and I told them that the last time I actually saw him was the end of June in 2006.
So you haven't seen your brother for more than a year?
No. Now, we've texted and emailed, but I haven't actually seen him.
Has Michael Giles met some sinister fate? Or is there a more reasonable explanation for his limited communication?
Michael Giles was a very private man. He was always to himself.
In order to resolve this anomaly in an orderly man's life, Texas law enforcement must confront a sordid case of false identity, brazen lawlessness, and cold-hearted betrayal.
It was amazing what this person could do. It was like a puppet master, just pulling all the strings.
Michael Giles was born in 1959 and spent his childhood in Monroe, Louisiana, where he and his 5 siblings made the most of country living.
We actually grew up on my grandmother's farm, gardening and just playing, and he was very mischievous as a little boy, from scaring me with snakes as well as putting frogs down my back. But he was just always wanted to make you laugh.
Well, we're a fun-loving family. We're a tight-knit family.
When Michael's parents divorced in 1968, the family left behind the rural haven of Louisiana for something more cosmopolitan.
We moved to Dallas because my mom had already relocated here, and then she came back and got us once she got settled here, and she remarried at that time.
Michael had little difficulty adjusting to his new, more fast-paced surroundings.
He was always smiling, joking, having fun.
And as he grew into a young man, that happy-go-lucky outlook developed into one of conviction and duty.
Michael attended Carter High School, and Mike graduated in 1977. All he wanted to ever do was go to the military. And as soon as he graduated from high school, a year later, he went into the Air Force.
In the Giles family, we do have a history of military association throughout our family.
The day Michael joined the Air Force marked the first day of what would be a stellar career.
Michael seemed to do very well in the military. He received many honors.
He did get lots of medals and was honored quite a bit.
But the military offered more than just the satisfaction of proudly serving one's country.
He enjoyed the travel. He lived in England at one point. He traveled to China. He did a lot of traveling while he was in the military.
While stationed in England in the mid-1990s, Michael's focused discipline was no match for the charms of an attractive young woman on the base named Quinetta Harris.
Quinetta, let me introduce you to Michael, good friend of mine.
Hey,
Very nice to meet you, man.
You too.
Michael met Quinetta when he was in the military stationed in England, and at that time she was married to another serviceman.
Quinetta was a very intelligent person. She was a nurse, well-traveled. She was well-spoken.
All right, Mike, we gotta go. You ready to go, baby?
Yeah.
All right, bro. See you. Take care. See you.
Michael was too respectful to make an advance on a married woman. But fate soon did the heart's bidding.
Hey, how are you? How was your day?
Good. How have you been?
Good, you look really nice.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
No problem. Quinetta and her husband had some marital problems and split up. During that time, Michael and Quinetta formed a relationship.
What can I get you to drink?
I'll take what you're having.
Sure.
After her and the other guy divorced, Mike went to her ex-husband and asked him if he minded if he dated Quinetta, and he gave him his blessings.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Michael and Quinetta appeared to be an item. They continued their relationship overseas.
But soon the itinerant nature of military life wrought havoc on the romance. And in 1998, Michael retired from the Air Force and returned to Dallas.
He made his way back to Texas, started planting some roots down in Garland, Texas, started working for Southwestern Bell.
But once back home, Michael found Quinetta hard to forget.
There was allegedly an on-again, off-again relationship between those two, that they would meet up every so often.
She was living in Detroit. He was living here in Texas, but she would visit him.
While smoldering passion burned, the fire eventually fizzled out again, and Michael resolved to lead a comfortable life in the quiet of military retirement.
Michael Giles' discipline when it came to his lifestyle was very meticulous. He saved every dime. He made the right decisions.
For Michael to have come from a farm the way we grew up and to have become the man that he was awesome. It was simply wonderful, and I was very, very proud of him.
But as the years wore on, Michael's family wondered if all the trappings of his success weren't meant to be shared with a special someone.
Michael's home was 3 bedrooms, 2 living areas, formal dining room, and a office.
He had a life that I would be proud to emulate, buying his house, getting his life in order, and then he'll be able to share that with someone special.
When Michael attended a family event in 2006, the arrival of a surprise guest made them wonder if he hadn't already found that special someone after all.
Hey, everybody, this is Pamela.
Michael and Pamela first met during his military days when he had been stationed in New Mexico. They had since reconnected and struck up a relationship.
He introduced her to the aunts and the uncles and nieces and nephews and all that. We really thought that it was a serious relationship.
These first buds of love had to survive the harsh realities of living hundreds of miles apart.
She was a nurse back in New Mexico.
But distance did little to dampen their devotion to each other.
He continued working, but was also spending a lot of time with Pamela. They were seeing each other a lot, especially since they didn't live in the same city.
For Michael to introduce Pamela to our family and have her come and visit him as often as she did, we really thought that it was a serious relationship and they would end up getting married.
After so many years of discipline and commitment to his military service, Michael Giles finally found himself settling into happiness and peace.
And Michael had a great life. He had a home in a nice area. He had a nice job. He had good military benefits. He had what appeared to be a good girlfriend at the time. So he was living what we would call American dream.
But his family now wonders, with fear mounting by the day, if Michael had simply decided to walk away from his picture-perfect life, or if the answer to his disappearance is something more sinister.
It was the money trail that started bringing everything to light, and when the mortgage wasn't being paid, set off all kinds of red flags.
It is autumn 2007 in Garland, Texas, and agents of the Veterans Administration have contacted police after one of their own, Michael Giles, has mysteriously defaulted on a house loan.
Michael had a pretty substantial amount of money saved and was very faithful in making all of his payments on time. And then just abruptly in 2006, they stopped receiving any payments from him.
Interviews with Michael's loved ones confirm for authorities the possibility of something amiss.
The last communication that I had with him was on June 30th.
But the family also indicates that lengthy periods of time without contact was not unusual.
Michael was a private person. Michael sometimes went a few weeks without talking to his family and friends.
He kind of kept to himself if something was bothering him. It's that military thing where I can handle my own.
But even a family accustomed to Michael's habits couldn't deny something strange about their last contact.
Hello? The last time they had seen Michael was at the end of June. And he was supposed to come over on July 4th for a cookout. They received a call saying that he was not going to be able to attend this cookout.
Oh, is everything okay?
Michael always attended our family gatherings, especially on holidays, because he loved to eat.
Okay, baby. Well, call me back, all right? Bye.
As the months rolled by, the family describes having to subsist on only the barest scraps of communication.
The family would continue to try to reach out to Michael via email and text message. Sometimes they would get responses back that were just very short. I'm okay. That's about it. No detailed explanation of where he's been, what he's been doing, nothing of that nature.
Until one day in early 2007 when Michael's mother got a phone call.
Her phone rang from Michael's cell phone number.
Michael?
But it wasn't Michael on the line.
There was a lady called and said that she was calling from a cruise ship and that Mike had dropped his phone leaving off the boat.
A cruise?
Yes, he and his lovely wife.
His wife?
She said that him and his wife were getting off the boat and he dropped his phone and to let him know that she would turn it into the steward.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
The family breathed a collective sigh of relief.
After receiving that phone call, I called my sister and I told her, I said, Mike's gone off and gotten married.
We didn't know because of that privacy level he kept.
You think him and Pam finally hitched up and he didn't let us know anything about it?
I don't know.
But when VA agents contact Pamela via law enforcement in New Mexico, the answer isn't what they had hoped.
I haven't been on a cruise and Michael's not my husband. He was my boyfriend.
Okay. When was the last time you were in Dallas?
Maybe over a year ago?
The fact that Pamela hadn't seen Michael in so long was disturbing because they were just starting to get serious around the time that he was last seen by his family.
And have you recently seen Michael?
Not since the last time I went to Dallas. And then he sent me a text message saying that he needed some space and some time to think over things.
Pamela was heartbroken that Michael had cut her off cold turkey. Eventually, she decided to move on with her life.
In October of 2007, with suspicious elements mounting, agents make the recommendation that Michael's family had been fearing.
They informed me that I needed to file a missing person report, which was very concerning to me. Something must be wrong.
Missing person's been filed. We're all suspicious now. We don't know where to begin to look, what could have possibly happened.
With Michael's disappearance now officially a police matter, investigators, led by Garland detective Gary Sweet, expand their search. And what they find quickly takes them into unknown territory.
When we checked his financial records, we found that all the money that was coming out of his accounts were coming out in the Detroit, Michigan area.
It's a development that shifts attention away from Michael's former flame, Pamela, in New Mexico.
She was eliminated as a suspect. There was nothing there to lead us to Pamela.
But the flurry of financial activity in Detroit gives Detective Sweet his first concrete lead.
Hello?
Yes, Gwen, Detective Sweet. Would there be any reason why Michael is sending money to Detroit or a co-applicant by the name of Quinetta Harris?
When investigators make a trip to Detroit, they'll uncover a shocking secret that suggests Michael may very well still be alive.
His friends never knew. His family never knew. Everyone was baffled.
48 hours after Michael Giles is listed as missing, detectives have discovered a promising new lead in his personal records, a lead steering them towards Detroit and away from their initial suspect, Michael's former girlfriend, Pamela Stone.
We checked his records, and Quinetta Harris in Detroit, Michigan was on his bank accounts. Quinetta worked as a nurse's aide at a nursing home.
Authorities are surprised to discover that Michael's family had never heard of such a significant figure in his life.
He never mentioned her. He never said one thing about her.
She was totally off the charts to them.
Okay, thank you.
Is it possible Michael Giles had simply left his previous life behind in Garland and started anew?
We had to look at everything. I mean, could he have moved to Detroit and be living with Quinetta? Absolutely.
I'm going to have to go to Detroit, find out where this money's going.
Detective Sweet flies to Detroit to make contact with Quinetta at her home on the east side of town.
Are you Quinetta Harris?
Yes, I am.
I introduced myself to her. I'm an investigator from Garland, Texas, and I'm investigating a missing person. Told her it was Michael Giles, and she said, yes, I know Michael.
Michael and Quinetta met when Michael was in the Air Force. She was married to a subordinate of his.
After she had divorced her husband, if Mr. Giles had pursued her, they had a relationship.
At some point after he moved back from England, Michael and Quinetta had broken up. She had gone back to Michigan, and Michael pursued other love interests.
When Detective Sweet inquires about Michael's financial records, Quinetta drops a bombshell.
Is there any reason why he's supporting you financially?
Yes, we have a child together.
She said that they had a daughter together and that Michael had put her on these accounts as child support.
Michael's family had never mentioned him having a child.
And where is that child?
Oh, she's at school, but she does live with me.
So you haven't had any contact with him, is that correct?
No, he really just helps out financially to provide for a child.
Quinetta said that Michael had worked it out with the bank in Michigan so that it would be easier for her to access the funds for their child.
It seems a reasonable explanation, but detectives will still need to confirm Quinetta's story. With suspicion swirling, detectives head 90 miles west of Detroit to a bank that handles some of Michael's accounts. There, they sit down with a financial advisor named Donald Eberly.
Hey, I've got to go.
Hi, stick to Sweet.
Donald Everly?
You happen to handle Michael Giles' finances?
I advise him on his finances, yes.
And have you ever heard of a lady by the name of Quinetta Harris?
Yes, Miss Harris came in here wanting power of attorney over his estate.
Quinetta Harris contacts Donald Eberly in East Lansing, Michigan, and presents this power of attorney that is signed by Michael Giles.
Michael Giles needed to appear in front of people and actually sign documents that could be witnessed and notarized.
And I explained to her that she needed to have him present in order to make the transfer.
Quinetta responds that Michael is ill. He was involved in a car crash and subsequently had a stroke.
She explains to him that, well, he's had a stroke and he's not able to drive. He's basically bedridden. So Donald says, well, then I can go to your home and he can do it there. So she agrees to this.
So I actually met with him right at the bedside and he got the paperwork done.
What date was that?
I believe that was September 29th, 2006.
And you saw him that day?
Yeah, of course. He had trouble talking, but he was able to get the necessary paperwork done.
Michael Giles basically signed over financial and personal history to Quinetta.
The financial advisor's story basically matched up to what Quinetta told police. And it also suggested that Michael was alive about 3 months after his family last saw him.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, officer.
Detectives return to Dallas, satisfied that Quinetta's circumstance necessitates shared finances. At the same time, they still wonder why Michael stopped payment on his property if he was alive for all that time.
What often happens with something traumatic, like an accident or sickness, is that people fall out of their normal routine. They might even fall behind on their bills. Certainly this could have happened with Michael.
As they begin poring over reports of police activity in Michael's neighborhood, detectives stumble upon another new lead. A 911 call that came from Michael's neighbor on the evening of July 5th, 2006, soon after Michael was last seen by his family.
The next door neighbor had called in and said there were 2 pickups and several Hispanic males loading her neighbor's furniture into the trucks.
Hi, I'd like to report some suspicious activity.
The neighbor made note of the license plate number of the moving truck while police were on their way.
Okay, thank you.
While she is out watching the vehicles, waiting on the police to arrive, a woman comes out of the house and comes over and introduces herself to this lady and stated that she was the new owner of the house.
Hi, I'm the homeowner from next door. Did we disturb you at all?
She says she was just selling some furniture.
The situation seemed to have already resolved itself by the time police arrived.
Didn't know, just trying to be neighborly.
They had also spoken to the lady that said she owned the house, and no, there was no suspicion, so everything was good.
But now, over a year later, detectives suspect there was more to this call than initially met the eye. They tracked down the license plate number of the vehicle that was in the driveway that night.
I ran the tags for the van. Came back belonging to Francisco Bacuna.
Bring him in. I want to talk to him.
Okay.
We made contact with him. He went by the nickname Vic, and he did remember going over there.
Thanks for coming in, Mr. Bacuna.
Francisco Vicuna describes for police a curious encounter he had when an unnamed woman approached him on the block about purchasing furniture.
My family and I were out in that area trimming trees, doing some landscaping.
This woman approached them, asking them if they wanted to buy the furniture. And they said, yeah, they would like to come look. And they bought every piece of furniture in the house for $300.
Only $300?
Yes, $300 for all of it.
Part of the furniture was a couch. And on this couch, one of the cushions, there was a large red stain. And when she was questioned about it by the individual that was purchasing the furniture, she just said it was red paint.
He said, we looked around and he said, we didn't see anything painted red anywhere. So he said, we left the sofa. But everything else they bought.
But the furniture purchase was not the end of the transaction with this mysterious woman. And what Mr. Vicuna says next will have police scrambling for an explanation.
As we were about to leave, she asked if we would do a side job for her.
She asked if any of them would be willing to do a little side job and dig a hole for her in the backyard.
Francisco says they agreed to dig the hole.
So he asked, okay, where would you like this hole?
We were anxious to know where he dug that hole at in that backyard, so we asked him if he would be able to show us, and he said he would.
And what Francisco shows them will give investigators their first concrete evidence.
It was about the size, could fit about a 6-foot person.
The case took a turn as soon as they dug up that slab.
6 days after former Air Force officer Michael Giles is reported missing, investigators are pursuing a new lead. According to a man named Francisco Vicuna, aka Vic, someone claiming to be the owner of Michael Giles' house hired Vic and his uncle to dig a large hole in the backyard. Vic leads detectives to the house, where they find a strange addition to the hole that had been dug.
They found this mysterious slab, a 4-inch slab of concrete that's not in the ground like a sidewalk, a slab above the ground like maybe you'd set something like an AC unit on. But it wasn't the right size, and in the location it made no sense whatsoever.
It looked totally different than the other cement, and it wasn't there before.
Detectives now suspect they are onto something big. But while authorities gather resources to search the house and property, detectives need to be sure of one thing: the identity of the woman who ordered the hole to be dug.
One of the individuals that bought the furniture, he was shown what we call in Texas a 6-photo lineup. Quinetta Harris was in that 6-photo lineup, and he picked her out immediately as the person who had sold him the furniture.
We actually even found the contractor that poured the concrete and showed him a lineup, and he also identified Quinetta Harris as the person that hired him to put the concrete on it.
Law enforcement has their suspect.
Every single thing we found with Michael Giles came back to Quinetta Harris.
But until they locate what's under that concrete slab, they're not yet sure what the crime is. On October 19, 2007, a week after Michael Giles has been listed as a missing person, Garland police, in cooperation with the FBI, begin poking around Michael's backyard.
The Garland Police Department got permission to search the property, took a canine unit out there, and specifically led the canine around the area of the oddly poured concrete slab.
They brought a metal rod with a handle and a sharp point and went around the yard and poked holes all through the yard. And then they had the dog go around and sniff the holes. The dog pretty much ran over every hole there until it got to the slab, and then it started pawing at the ground and sort of digging a little bit. The dog was interested in underneath there.
He's got a positive alert over here.
An alerted canine unit gives the investigative team the go-ahead to excavate the slab.
I received a call from Detective Sweet saying that they had been over to my brother's house with cadaver dogs and that they had found an area that had been disturbed. And so they wanted to let us know that it could possibly be on the news the next day because they would start digging in his backyard.
As the excavation begins, Detective Sweet and his team are in Detroit, ready to move on their prime suspect, Quinetta Harris.
The news was also out there. And if somehow she found out that this is being excavated and she knows that he's there, our fear was that she may try to flee.
It isn't long before the excavation turns up a sure sign of the macabre. As personnel dig deeper into the earth, they're met by a disturbing and telltale odor.
They could smell decomposed human flesh. That's a pretty distinct smell. And they were smelling decomposition. So we know now for sure we've got a grave.
While the FBI evidence team is out there excavating, they find a decomposed body wrapped in a blanket with a throw pillow also in this grave.
They are able, on field examination, to see that there is a bullet wound to the head.
Michael was later identified by his dental records through the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Michael's family reels in the wake of this astonishing development.
It was a blow that was gut-wrenching to find out that he had been buried in his backyard for over a year. And to know that I actually went by and knocked on the door and he was there. He was just back there killed.
Meanwhile in Detroit, Detective Sweet's team gets word of the gruesome discovery and they make their move.
You found a body.
Once the discovery of the body was made, Detective Sweet then was able to arrest Juanetta.
But before detectives can be sure they've caught their perp, an individual will come forward with an alarming admission that will have everyone scratching their heads.
A lawyer states, "I have a client who claims to have killed Michael Giles."
October 19th, 2007. After police and FBI exhumed Michael Giles from a makeshift grave behind his own house, his former girlfriend, Quinetta Harris, is taken into custody without incident. But under questioning, she resolutely maintains her innocence.
When I confronted her and told her that we had her identified as the person selling the furniture, she still denied. She said she didn't sell that furniture. That wasn't her.
One of the neighbors that was there basically identified you and said you were there and some Hispanic guys were moving the furniture out.
Me?
Mm-hmm. They picked you out of a 6-picture lineup.
The conversation then went to the concrete slab that she had had poured.
Did you go to Texas to have concrete poured?
No, I didn't.
No.
Finally, I told her that that concrete slab was being torn up, and she sat very quietly looking at me, and I said, and we dug that up, and I told her, so Michael's not missing anymore.
Michael was under that concrete slab that you had poured down there.
I didn't have that poured down.
And that hole that you had dug.
I didn't have that hole dug.
You're in a lot of trouble.
While Quinetta remains in custody at the station, detectives execute a search on her home and uncover a treasure trove of incriminating research and correspondence.
Detectives recovered cell phones, computers, records, anything that you can imagine that linked her to this crime and linked her to Michael Giles.
Sweet. Check this out.
What do you got?
She had a notebook that I'm sure she had gotten probably somewhere in Michael's house that had a lot of his passwords to a lot of his accounts, credit cards and things like that, the passwords to all of that in a book we found.
Authorities also find the power of attorney document granting Quinetta access to Michael's accounts, signed by Michael in September of 2006. But investigators know he had already been deceased at this time. How could a dead man sign a legal document?
We found that this was notarized by a lady in the Detroit area, and we made a point to locate this lady to ask her who signed these papers.
The notary is Detroit resident Patricia Turner, who police contact at her place of work.
Miss Turner.
I tell her that I'm investigating a murder, and she is very uncooperative.
Miss Turner, there are serious implications. Falsifying legal documents. Now, we can make your life very difficult for you if you don't cooperate. You need to tell me who signed Michael Giles' name in this document.
She was very cooperative after that. Told me who it was.
DeAndre Knight.
Detectives have never heard the name DeAndre Knight. Who was this mysterious man?
And this was Quinetta's common-law husband.
Investigators are shocked to learn that Michael Giles hadn't been the only man in Quinetta's life at the time of his murder.
We'll be in touch.
This is a pretty intricate, detailed, plotted scam.
This eye-opening admission arms law enforcement with a provocative new theory. In collusion with DeAndre Knight, Quinetta Harris had gone to extraordinary lengths to milk the murdered Michael Giles for all he was worth. The plan involved duping Michigan financial advisor Donald Eberly.
They rented out like a hospital bed, had him in full bandages, had him where he could barely speak. She had a notary there.
He pretended he had a stroke. This was DeAndre, and he signs this information in front of Donald Eberly.
It is a stunning revelation. But as authorities begin their investigation of DeAndre Knight, the situation back in Texas has taken a turn for the bizarre.
Quinetta was able to post a $500,000 bond.
While Quinetta is out on bond, A lawyer contacts Josh Healy at the district attorney's office and states, I have a client who claims to have killed Michael Giles.
The client is 19-year-old Dallas resident Erica Flores, who astounded Judicial District Court Judge Andy Chatham with her confession.
She says, well, I need to talk to you about Quinetta Harris. Well, she didn't do it. I did. Whoa, it's like a needle going across a record. As far as like, I gotta stop everything. Shut everything down and go, okay, you stop talking. Just have a seat.
Judge Chatham arranges for Ms. Flores to be formally questioned with representation.
Erica Flores arrived at the district attorney's office to speak with Josh and Detective Sweet in regards to the murder of Michael Giles.
I had to keep asking her to speak up because she was just so soft-spoken. Finally got the story out of her that she was with two friends of hers by the name of Juan and Vic. Juan and Vic were names that were actually partly involved. They did dig the hole.
Vic and Juan came to pick me up and we were smoking and they wanted to rob a man at Walmart in Garland. And then they followed them home and then we put shirts over our head and pushed them in the house. When Victor came and gave me the gun and told me to shoot him. And after that, put the body in the bathroom and we left.
In order to verify a story that could change the face of a major murder case, Detective Sweet ensures that Erica's version of events jibes with the evidence they collected in the field.
So I told her, you're going to have to give me a little bit more detail than that. So, I mean, how did you kill him? She says, I shot him in the head.
Vic gave me the pillow and held the pillow while I shot him.
But as the questioning gets more detailed, Erica's replies became more suspect.
This young woman came in and said that she had committed the Michael Giles murder. Yet she could not provide any details about it. Only few scant details that anyone could know.
I said, I know you're lying. And we went through that and she broke and admitted that the story wasn't true.
Once they started showing me the pictures of the guy and how he was buried, that's when I just started telling them, I met a lady earlier and she had me to come here and say all this.
When Erica's mother, Elizabeth, is contacted, she's shocked by her daughter's confession.
The police came to my house, said, your daughter been convicted of murder. I said, no, that's a lie. That's not true.
Elizabeth agrees to come down to the station where her daughter is still being held. After detectives explain the situation, they separate the two of them and conduct further questioning. Erica describes for authorities the extraordinary circumstances that compelled her to make the gravest of admissions.
From the beginning, how did you first get started with this situation?
A lady called me the day before yesterday.
I was at home and I received a phone call.
Hello? Hi, is this Erica?
And she was offering me a job to be a private investigator.
We're investigating the systematic racism in the court system here in Dallas, and we're wondering if you'd like to help with this worthy cause. Can we meet for an interview?
My daughter said, Mom, I got a job interview to go to. And I said, where? She said, downtown. I said, okay.
I had been doing a lot of job applications online. So when I got the call, I was just like, thinking, hey, I got a job offer. It seemed to be official, so that's why I went to the interview.
I'll let you know how it is.
Okay. At the time, I didn't think of anything of it. I just thought I was getting interviewed for a job.
During the interview at El Centro College in downtown Dallas, the woman Erica met with laid out a plan that Erica couldn't have known might have landed her in prison.
While we were there discussing the job, she introduced a letter that she had pre-wrote, and she had me to copy everything down. She told me the people that I would be meeting, and she told me to basically act like I did. She said the reason for this was because they were incriminating Black people, and she wanted to see how they would treat me because I was Black.
Detectives are floored by Erica's story. They leave the room to go speak with her mother, Elizabeth. As detectives explain the details of the crime to which her daughter had confessed, Elizabeth makes a disturbing connection.
And a light bulb goes off for Elizabeth. That sounds like Quinetta Harris.
You know,
I know how she looked.
According to Elizabeth, while she was serving time in jail on drug charges, she befriended Quinetta, who was in custody awaiting trial.
I was in jail with her, and she told me her story.
I did 5 months, and she did like 2, 3 months.
How many conversations do you think you guys had?
Numerous. We talked late at night.
And all of a sudden, she wanted to tell me all her business and stuff. She just started being my friend, buying me stuff, then started asking me how many kids and stuff I got.
She was asking me questions about y'all in jail, so I was in jail, and she keep asking me stuff about my kids.
What kind of questions about your kids?
Keep asking me how old was they. What you say their name is again?
Once Quinetta Harris posted bond, she put her plan to frame young Erica Flores into motion.
Or somehow she got my home number.
My daughter just came here yesterday. When the lady called her yesterday, said, "Mama, I got this job." I said, "Doing what?" She said, "Some lady told me I got to do a private investigator job. Now I have to be there at 9:30.
She's very shrewd, this lady is, to have her pull that off. We'll get her back in here and we'll let you guys get home.
In a case rife with misdirection, investigators can't be too careful in verifying witnesses' accounts.
We put a 6-picture lineup together with Quinetta Harris being one of them, and she immediately picked Quinetta as the person that was there. She said, "It's this woman, but she had a wig. It's her." We also had Elizabeth identify Quinetta too as the same Quinetta that we're thinking of, just to make sure there's not another Quinetta, and she identified Quinetta Harris as the person that was her cellmate.
After releasing Erica Flores and her mother, Quinetta is swiftly returned to custody, this time without bond.
She was arrested for violating condition of bond, to have no communications, interference with the case.
And a search of her Dallas apartment confirms, beyond doubt, that she was behind the nefarious plan that almost sent Erica Flores to prison.
When they searched the apartment, they found the script that had been given to Erica Flores to write down and to report to Josh in Detective Suite.
But even though Quinetta Harris is now in the hands of law enforcement, she's not going down without a fight.
This woman just wouldn't stop. She was still trying to manipulate the situation, even from jail.
In April 2008, police discovered that Quinetta Harris had coerced a young woman named Erica Flores to confess to the murder of Michael Giles.
Quinetta had manipulated this young girl as a last-ditch effort to get out of jail. Once the detectives connected the dots, they arrested her again, this time without bond.
Quinetta Harris waits in jail for a year and a half, and on October 6, 2009, she faces a jury of her peers as the state lays out a case of prodigious greed turned deadly.
Quinetta, she killed him for everything. She wanted all that he had, and she was going to do anything to get it.
Prosecutors argue that Quinetta waited for the perfect moment to execute her plan as she visited Michael in his home.
At some point, Michael's asleep on that couch. Quinetta approaches with the gun, covers his head with that pillow, and shoots one time into his head. After that, she wraps up his body, puts it in one of the other rooms of the home, decides that she needs to get rid of all his furniture, figures that what am I going to do with this body? So she has the grave dug in the backyard, goes back to Detroit, basically assumes his identity, empties his bank accounts.
From that point forward, Quinetta went to great lengths to make it seem Michael was still alive.
Hello? We found out that she actually murdered him on July the 3rd, and that on July 4th, my mom did not talk to my brother, but to Quinetta, who had purchased a voice-changing machine.
Prosecutors also claim it was Quinetta who made the call to Michael's family, posing as a cruise ship patron who had found Michael's lost phone.
She made the phone call using his phone to keep us quiet down.
And Quinetta's twisted string of lies didn't stop there.
Quinetta had told Detective Sweet that her youngest child was my brother's child, and we found out that that was not true.
It was just totally unbelievable. I couldn't believe that a person can just stoop so low.
When defense attorneys take the floor, they suggest to the jury that Quinetta's boyfriend, DeAndre Knight, was a far more likely suspect.
It was her position that there was a confrontation between Michael and DeAndre, that resolved itself in Michael being killed. There could have been the jealousy, love triangle going on.
But as the trial progresses, it becomes clear that evidence strongly favors the state.
Case against Quinetta was like an avalanche. I mean, it starts with a snowball, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the time the state was finished, this was just an avalanche of snow coming right at Quinetta Harris.
We called the witnesses who dug the hole, who laid the cement, who bought the furniture, who called in the missing persons, to the people that, busted up the cement, to the FBI agents, and it kept going.
Quinetta's defense team is not so lucky.
No witnesses showed up. Not one single person showed up on her behalf.
But Quinetta is banking on the absence of the one person who can testify to her elaborate scheme of gaining control of Michael's assets.
When we started the trial, DeAndre Knight was not to be found.
DeAndre is the link between Quinetta and the money and how she accessed that money.
The state isn't about to let their prize witness go without a fight.
We went up to Detroit. We went and yanked him up there and flew him back for trial. And he was about to testify against Quinetta because we were going to charge him with everything.
We did file charges on him for his part in the forgery.
They were about to have the star witness come down there and look at her and say, "You did this. And I was there. I know you did this." She knew that at that point, the only thing she can do is plead guilty and hope for something other than a life sentence.
On October 12th, Quinetta Harris takes a plea deal, and the trial is stopped.
The plea agreement was that she plead guilty for murder and she would be sentenced to 50 years.
DeAndre Knight also takes a plea deal.
He did plead guilty and took a plea. He didn't do any time. He got probation and basically banned from the state of Texas.
Quinetta is remanded to federal prison, but for a justice system anxious to close the book on this bizarre case, one final twist awaits.
When Quinetta was officially sentenced, we thought that was the last we'd see of Quinetta Harris, but we were wrong.
In early 2016, authorities received startling news from the Department of Criminal Justice.
Quinetta Harris had been in prison almost 8 years, and there is a motion filed on behalf of Quinetta Harris. Her sentence was changed from 50 years to 8 years, meaning Quinetta Harris would get out of prison in about a month or two. It was signed by the new district judge, Judge Amber Givens.
Somehow the prison officials saw this and didn't think that was right.
Prison officials contacted the court and found out that the judge's signature had been forged and the document was a fake.
It was a brazen bid for freedom by a person unpricked by conscience and heedless of the law.
In my 17 years of law enforcement, I've seen and come across a lot of things, worked a lot of cases. I have never seen a case like this.
Quinetta Harris is quite possibly the most dangerous, most egotistical, diabolical person I've ever dealt with in the criminal justice field.
She's manipulative. Whatever she has to do to get what she wants, she'll do.
But the law will now confine Quinetta Harris, and the family of Michael Giles will resume the long process of overcoming the loss of a man who chose the wrong woman to love.
Only God knows the miraculous things that he was getting ready to do, the sons and daughters he was getting ready to have.
He was the best brother ever, honestly. He was. He was a really good guy, and had he lived, he would have made some woman a really, really good husband.
They were two people from different sides of the tracks who fell madly in love.
There was just this chemistry between them that neither of them could ignore. He seemed really protective of her.
Together, their potential seemed limitless.
She was a straight A student, really could have gone to any college she wanted to. And after a traumatic upbringing, he was finally on the right path.
But on a cold winter night, their romance was snuffed out in horrific fashion.
We hear raised voices. Bitch, 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 at least 4 times. So there's an altercation going on in that van.
There was a visceral reaction that something like this happened to someone with so much promise.
The evidence started pointing in ways that shocked even the police.
A series of surprising dead ends and shocking revelations would leave police struggling to understand what really happened.
There's been rumors that have floated around that it was something sexual, and it illustrates this pattern that something's off with him.
He arrives, he is upset, saying, I'm probably going to prison tonight.
This completely shattered both our lives. There's all this pain that is unending.
1 a.m., January 13th, 2009. A snowstorm is swirling in Ypsilanti, Michigan, a blue-collar community a couple miles east of the college town of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
It was a very heavy snowfall. There was a heavy snow that night.
Emergency dispatchers have been bombarded with reports of traffic accidents. But the call that just came in from resident Anthony Thompson has nothing to do with the inclement weather.
Ambulance fire emergency, what's your address?
I'm going to Congress. I'm just driving down the street going home, and there's a lady laying here, and her head is busted open.
She was laying on her back. She had a winter coat on. It was kind of spread open. The caller could see that she was covered in blood. There were pieces of her personal items spread kind of around her.
The woman was found just outside of one of the city's parks.
Okay, is she able to respond to you at all?
I don't know. She's reaching up at the sky, at the air now.
Okay, can you talk to her? See if she can respond to you? Just say, ma'am, can you hear me?
Excuse me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? She's just reaching her, waving her arm like, I don't think she can hear me.
She needs help.
In a matter of minutes, Ypsilanti police officers Robert Murphy and Brooke Mullender arrive on the scene.
That location is actually only a couple blocks from our police department, and we were able to respond pretty quickly. We immediately went up to the victim, tried to assess her needs. The victim couldn't talk. She was kind of making some noises.
I could see the injury to her forehead. The trauma was severe.
She had exposed brain matter.
Our initial thoughts were that she had suffered a gunshot wound to the head.
Murphy to dispatch. I need an ambulance right away at the park.
Myself and the other officer kind of grabbed her hand and just talked to her to give her some kind of feeling of safety.
Help is on the way.
She was still conscious, but again, she couldn't communicate verbally. She was making sounds, moving her arms around.
Not only is the woman unable to communicate, she apparently has no license or identification.
There wasn't a wallet or a purse with an ID, so at this time, she was a Jane Doe to us.
At 1:20 a.m., EMTs arrive and rush the unidentified woman to the hospital. With the snowstorm intensifying, Ypsilanti police must work quick to document the scene.
It had been snowing on and off for the past few hours, but it was about to get a lot worse.
If we didn't immediately try to get photos with the evidence, we were going to lose it.
Officer Mullender, she's an evidence technician. She started just taking pictures as quickly as she could.
With no sign of a murder weapon or shell casings left behind, police brainstorm about a possible motive for the crime.
We did not see a purse or a wallet or any type of phone, so it did cross our mind that it could be a robbery.
That theory gains traction when Officer Mullender spots something in the snow a few feet from where the body was initially discovered.
Hey guys, come here, look at this.
There were some footprints in the snow.
There's a set of footprints that lead right here to where the body was lying. And then there's just one set that leads out of here to the recreational park.
Somebody was definitely in a hurry to get out of here.
You could see where they were almost like sliding, that the person was moving quick.
As officers follow the tracks into the park, they make another discovery.
We found a set of blue Converse high-top tennis shoes, large, size 10, so a man's.
And the unusual skid mark pattern in the footprints suggests another theory about the individual who'd been wearing them.
Whoever was wearing them had slid their foot in, so it would be easy to drag it as you're leaving. It's believed suspect had actually run out of his shoes, running away from the scene.
The footsteps continued, and there were toe prints in the snow.
Investigators follow the bare footprints, which dead end right in front of a residence about a block west of the park.
We had reason to believe that the suspect had went into that house and could still be in that home.
He could be in there.
Suspect is linked armed and dangerous. We are requesting immediate backup.
After radioing for backup, a team of officers arrives and prepares to move in. But what would they find inside?
This was a real life or death situation. They didn't know what they were going to walk into.
On a cold January night in 2009, police in the Detroit suburb of Ypsilanti, Michigan, are investigating a bizarre and gruesome crime.
There was a snowstorm that night, and the police were probably expecting a few accidents. But what they weren't expecting to find was an unidentified woman gravely injured, lying in the snow just outside of one of the city's parks.
Based on the extent of her injuries, we believe that it was a gunshot wound to her forehead.
After discovering a pair of sneakers, police follow a trail of footprints approximately 200 yards to a house on Congress Street. where a team of officers prepares to descend on a potential murder suspect.
They had reason to believe that an armed man may be possibly hiding outside a home after he violently attacked a woman outside of a local park.
But as officers enter the house and cautiously move from room to room, it becomes clear there's no one else inside.
We cleared the house and we called inside.
The house was empty. The suspect was not there.
Standing outside, police wonder where this mystery man could be and what connection he had to the attack on the unidentified young woman. As they ponder this question, a young man emerges from the shadows.
Hey, I need to talk to someone right now.
A young man walks up to them and interrupts things. He's clearly upset and acting erratically. He seems confused as to what's going on.
Sir, stay right where you are and keep your hands where we can see him. This is an active police operation. My God, this is bad.
He said, you guys are probably going to want to talk to me because I saw some things.
He tells them, I have information that you probably would want to know about. Almost kind of braggadocious, very odd character. He said, hey, you're going to want to talk to me about what happened.
Making it even stranger, he wasn't even dressed for the weather.
He's not wearing a coat or a lot of clothes, which is very suspicious when you're living or dealing with any kind of Michigan weather.
Sergeant Robert Murphy escorts the young man to his patrol car and presses him for more information.
It's a natural assumption to think that the footsteps they'd been chasing belonged to this guy.
I had the back door open. I was standing outside. I had him sitting inside, and we were having a conversation. He was ramped up and confused of what was going on.
What's your name, son? No, not until you tell me who you just took away in that ambulance.
His behavior continued to be very erratic. Officer Murphy wasn't sure if the kid was on drugs or he was traumatized by something he saw, or maybe he was covering something up, or maybe a combination of all three.
Eventually, the young man calms down long enough to tell Officer Murphy his name.
I'm Jake Thomas. Okay, Jake. Why don't you tell us exactly what you know about what happened to that girl on the street? I think that might have been my girlfriend, Elena Jenkins.
Elena Jenkins and Jake Thomas were high school sweethearts from Ypsilanti. Elena remained a high school senior and Jake graduated, but they remained inseparable.
In fact, Jake tells police that he'd recently moved in with Elena and her mother.
They had plans to go to college together once Elena graduated. They had their whole lives ahead of them until they were blindsided by this horrific attack.
According to Jake, it all started at Elena's house around 11 p.m., shortly after Elena's mother had gone to bed.
Elena decided that she needed to turn in because she had school in the morning, and Jake decided to stay up.
Jake explains that Elena's mother had allowed another friend to briefly stay with them. His name is Dominic Oyerinde.
And he had a girlfriend that he would frequently go out with, Anna Marie Bliss, who's also friends with Elena. And that night, Jake was waiting for him to come home.
Dominic had been staying with us for a few days, and that was cool, all right? But when he came home last night, there was definitely something wrong.
He said Dominic arrived and he seemed to be upset.
He was really frantic.
Are you all right, man? Just give me the phone, man. I gotta call her. Dude, okay, just calm down. You're gonna wake up Elena. She's sleeping upstairs. I'm gonna mess someone up. Dude, seriously, you gotta keep it down.
Jake explains to Officer Murphy that Dominic believed someone had stolen his cell phone.
Dominic was from Detroit, and he had a pretty rough background.
The man lost his parents at such a young age, and Dominic grew up as a foster child. You can imagine how tough that can be.
He was able to land a job, but he couldn't keep the job unless he had a cell phone. If he would have lost that, it would have been catastrophic.
Dominic had been homeless for a really long time, and it was very hard for him. And all he wanted in the world was just to be stable and not constantly worry about where he was going to sleep or how he was going to eat.
Jake states that Dominic eventually got in touch with Anna, who, like Elena, is a senior at a local high school. Dominic asks Anna to come get him so she can help him track down his phone.
What's wrong? It's gonna mess everything up for me, for us, everything.
Calm down.
Anna, she was studying. She had homework to do. But she dropped everything to come see him because she loved him.
I'm gonna mess this thief up, man. Like, ugh.
Don't be stupid. I'm coming over.
Jake tells Officer Murphy that at around 12:30 a.m., Anna List pulled up to Elena's home in her family's minivan, and that Dominic went outside to meet her.
From what he told me, he was looking out the window from inside of the house.
At some point, he hears Dominic shout at Anna, bitch, bitch, bitch. Then all of a sudden, he hears the sound of 2 doors slam. And he sees Dominic and Anna walking away.
Anna was pretty upset, so it appeared that she was walking up the street to cool off.
He assumed Dominic was coming into the home, so he unlocks the door.
But to Jake's surprise, Dominic doesn't come inside. Instead, he hops in the driver's seat of the List family van.
Dominic immediately gets inside, makes a 3-point turn, hits the curb, and flies down the street. He said it was at that point that he became very afraid. He runs upstairs, he wakes up his girlfriend.
Elena, you gotta wake up. Something's going on with Anna and Dominic. They got in this big fight, and Dominic just took her van.
Wait, where are they?
They're somewhere outside right now. Where are you going?
I'm going to go find them.
As Elena leaves to search for her friend, Jake stays behind.
So I just kept waiting for her, but she never came back.
You're telling me that's the last time you ever saw her?
Yes, sir.
Because he hadn't heard from his girlfriend Elena in some time, he'd assumed that she had had some kind of encounter with the enraged Dominic.
Jake heard the sirens going off and he runs outside to see what was going on.
That girl we found out in the snow. I think that's Elena.
On the surface, Jake's statement suggests his friend Dominic Oyerinde shot Elena after she tried to intervene in his and Anna's argument. But with no sign of Anna List or her family's minivan, police aren't so sure.
Police don't even know who Dominic or Anna are, or even if they're real people. They were speculating that maybe Jake was trying to hide his own involvement in the crime.
We were certainly suspicious because of the time of day, the footprints, and then he's the only one that's out there, and this may actually be the person who did it.
But before police can parse fact from fiction in Jake Thomas's statement, a vehicle rolls up to the scene, and a woman and her daughter emerge from the car. And what they have to say will reveal the victim's true identity and cast another dark cloud over an investigation that's already shrouded in mystery.
It was so shocking. I couldn't possibly even comprehend the situation fully at that point.
Police in Ypsilanti, Michigan are questioning Jake Thomas in the shooting of an unidentified young woman.
Jake thinks that the victim is Elena. He believes that Elena was shot when she tried to break up a fight between Dominic and Anna.
But before police can make full sense of Jake's claims, the interview is interrupted when a vehicle pulls up to the scene and a woman jumps out.
What are you doing here?
Is this your house?
Yes, it is. What's going on?
The police start to explain that a woman had been brutally assaulted just down the street, and Jake believes that the victim could have been her daughter, Elena.
That can't be.
And why is that?
The woman turns out to be Michelle Jenkins, who's actually the mother of Elena Jenkins.
She introduces the officer to Elena Jenkins, who is clearly alive and well.
After getting permission from Michelle, the officer proceeds to interview the teen.
What are you and your mom doing out here this late at night?
We're looking for my friend Anna. Is the girl that you found her?
The officers tell Elena a description of the young lady taken to the hospital. Elena was pretty sure that it was her, so she gave the officers additional physical description of the young lady that matched.
She identified her as Anna List.
Anna List was born in Hong Kong on January 28, 1991. From the get-go, it was clear her life would be anything but ordinary.
Anna was born in Hong Kong, but her family lineage is from all around the world, which made her pretty ethnically diverse.
She came from all accounts, a very loving family, had a lot of support and a lot of direction to get her on the path she was headed.
When Anna was young, the family emigrated to Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was here that Anna truly started to blossom.
Anna was a straight-A student. She was a gifted musician. She demonstrated talent in a lot of other artistic areas as well. She had unbound potential.
While Anna's promise seemed limitless, her enormous heart may well have been her biggest gift of all.
Everyone just had wonderful things to say about her.
She was always looking to help other people. She mentored other students in the area of music, and she was involved in several charities. She cared very much about her community.
And while working as a continuing education tutor during the summer of 2008, Anna met the young man that would change her life forever, Dominic Oyerinde.
Hi, are you Anna?
Hi, yes, I am. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Dominic was 20 years old and he had just returned to school to get his GED.
A squared. C squared. I
See,
know that
you do
part.
know
I know that part.
something. Good.
Dominic was the kind of person that as soon as he entered a room, he was the only person anyone was looking at. He was the tall, black guy in a cutoff jacket on a skateboard, occasionally some sort of pet in his backpack.
Dominic was really into longboarding, and he would ride it around, everywhere. He also dressed really flamboyantly. He would wear just colors that other people wouldn't wear. He was a goofy guy. I mean, always cracking jokes. He had these little isms, and these Dominic-isms. Like, if somebody said, I want it, Dominic would be like, I want it all, brand new socks and drawers. And it was like this sing-song thing that he would do every time. And it would always crack everybody up.
I can't think of one person that actually didn't like him.
Anna proved no exception.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, you just have cute eyes. No, back to this.
Yeah, okay. You're right. So,
She really was attracted to him, and he was attracted to her.
Though Anna and Dominic were immediately attracted to each other, their vastly different upbringings made them for an unlikely couple.
You have Anna from an affluent neighborhood in Ann Arbor.
She was coming from a nurtured environment, a sheltered environment.
Dominic, he grew up in the streets of Detroit.
His childhood was really traumatizing and emotionally stressful.
Well, they aged him out of the system when he turned 18. Said, here's $600 a month, pay your bills, get a job. I mean, and that's how they do it.
He had dropped out of school, and he was homeless on and off and unemployed.
Desperate to make a better life for himself, Dominic moved to Ann Arbor and enrolled in an adult education program.
Ann Arbor is, looked at as being a really safe place to live, good schools.
He really wanted to avoid some of the unsteady elements from his life, so he'd often couch surf at friends' houses that would provide a more positive surrounding for him.
Despite all their differences, like Anna, Dominic shared a strong commitment to helping people.
There were some kids that lived near where he used to live. My parents weren't really watching them, but because he'd been through the foster care system, he would go and bring them food and take care of them, do nice stuff for them. And he actually did that on a pretty regular basis.
As for Anna, she saw Dominic's potential as both a boyfriend and a positive member of society.
She was helping him try to get his life together, help him try to get a job.
Anna was tutoring him for his GED and also trying to convince him to apply to Washington Community College to perhaps better himself and further his life.
We all knew he was really smart and that he could be doing something really awesome with his life.
Something that the world might not have seen in Dominic, Anna did. When she looked into his eyes, she saw possibilities. Two of them ended up falling in love.
we can go to the skate park and then go to the movie.
Ooh. So I guess you're saying we have a date tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it then. Because you're cute. That's it.
He was really happy about being with her, and he would say stuff like, she was out of his league and really awesome, and he seemed really protective of her.
They were from two totally different worlds. If Dominic was from the hood, Anna was his palace, his princess.
In December of 2008, the couple's devotion to each other began to pay dividends.
He finally got a job, and he was really excited.
He was working with a marketing street team, but needed a cell phone, and thankfully, Anna helped him with that. They were a couple working together for a better future.
But now, as officers speak with Elena Jenkins and confirm that the young woman fighting for her life at a local hospital is in fact Anna List, it's clear her and Dominic's future has been derailed.
At first, police thought it was Elena because Jake told them that it was Elena. But now it seems more likely that it was Anna, but they don't know who shot her and why.
Investigators are hopeful Elena Jenkins can shed light on Jake Thomas's initial statement. What she tells them largely corroborates Jake's story, but there are some key differences.
Jake's story was that he was inside the house when the argument between Anna and Dominic started.
Jake's girlfriend tells the police she could tell that he had been outside because his hands were so cold.
Elena tells police she was also confused by Jake's behavior after he woke her up.
He does some very odd things. After he wakes his girlfriend up, he says that he stays in the house. He doesn't follow her outside.
She throws her clothes on and she runs outside in the snow to see what was going on. But Jake doesn't.
Elena states that with Jake unwilling to venture outside to search for Anna and Dominic, she woke her mother to assist her instead.
Are you coming with me, Mom?
I should probably search around here. I'll catch up with you, though.
Why would he let his girlfriend just run out there and not go behind her and see what was going on?
Did you actually see Dominic and Anna get into a fight earlier?
No, my boyfriend Jake just woke me up out of my sleep. I don't know.
Do you think Dominic would have hurt her?
No, I just don't think he'd be capable of something like that. No.
Elena indicates that while Dominic is prone to outbursts, he worships the ground that Anna walks on.
And though Elena stops short of implicating her boyfriend in the attack on Anna, she does reveal Jake has his own share of demons.
Jake has bipolar disorder and very erratic behavior. I don't know, somehow that made him weirdly cut off to the world.
Like Anna, Jake Thomas had been raised by financially successful parents and spent part of his childhood in Asia. But according to Elena, that's where the comparisons between Jake and Anna ended.
I mean, there have been rumors that have floated around about Jake, and there was some kind of issue at one of his old schools involving a female Chinese student. A lot of the rumors illustrate this pattern that something's off about Jake.
Given this information and Jake's bizarre behavior when initially questioned by police, detectives wonder if he's trying to pin the attack against Anna on his pal Dominic.
Was he trying to hide his involvement? Was he trying to implicate Dominic? And was he, in fact, actually the one who attacked Anna that night?
So think about it. If Jake did have something to do with it, who better to blame than the homeless kid with a troubled past? It seems that something else could have been going on here. I mean, maybe a love triangle, or maybe just Jake being obsessed with Anna.
Investigators bring Jake Thomas down to the station for further questioning. They also continue their search for Dominic Oyerinde. But a shocking claim from Anna List's father is about to alter the course of the entire investigation.
She's a young woman that seemed to have a soft spot for troubled guys, and that caused some major problems. These guys both have mental health issues. You got a question. Maybe it was one of these guys that did this to Anna.
In the early morning hours of January 13th, 2009, police in Ypsilanti, Michigan are trying to unravel the truth behind the shooting of an unknown victim they believe to be 17-year-old honor student Anna List. While Jake Thomas claims that his friend Dominic Oyerinde is responsible, police can't rule out that Jake may have committed the crime himself. But police will soon realize that not everything about the attack is cut and dried.
By the time detectives got back to the station with Jake, they received confirmation from the hospital that they were able to identify the victim from known medical records, and it was Anna List.
She had swelling of her brain. They had put her in a medically induced coma to try to see if she could heal at all.
Her injuries were very severe, even life-threatening.
But the attending physicians also give police some surprising information about Anna's injuries.
The neurosurgeon advised that the injury was not caused by a gunshot wound. It was actually caused by blunt force trauma.
Anna List was hit with some type of blunt object. They just don't know what.
This was definitely a game changer. Blunt force traumas are a little bit more intimate and brutal.
At first, they think that this is a robbery gone wrong. But now they think that this is something personal.
With that in mind, detectives begin another interrogation of Jake Thomas.
There seemed to be some inconsistencies in Jake's story.
So you say you were inside the house when you heard this argument between Dominic and Anna?
That's right.
Well, your girlfriend Elena says that your hands were cold when you woke her up.
Yeah, well, I know what I saw, okay?
Are you sure there's something you're not telling us? I mean, was there something between you and Anna?
No. Look, I don't know what happened to her, but I heard them fighting outside in the van.
While Jake continues to assert his innocence, Anna List's father arrives at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital, having been informed of the attack on his daughter.
The victim's father was clearly distraught. I couldn't even imagine what he was going through at that time.
It's not a good time. We can do this later.
No. I need to do this now. I knew something like this was going to happen to Anna.
According to Anna's father, she was a loving and caring young woman, but very naive as well.
So she was always helping people. But I don't think she understood the severity of the challenges facing those that she was helping.
And a bit of a savior complex, having come from, an upper middle class environment and having had all the advantages.
Anna's father informs police that when his daughter told him she was dating a young man from the rough and tumble Detroit streets, he wasn't sure what to make of it. But after meeting Dominic, he quickly accepted the relationship. He also admits his daughter's stories about this young man's concern for her were touching.
Dom didn't want, like, his friends who partied and were irresponsible ever around his girlfriend because he didn't want any of his friends to be a bad influence or danger to her at all.
Sometimes desperate people do crazy things. You gotta be careful.
Anna had led a fairly sheltered life. Despite any concerns they had, they liked that Dominic opened Anna's eyes to another part of the world.
Stop acting like I'm totally naive.
Quit acting naive.
She was pretty sheltered and doesn't have any experience with crisis.
But according to Anna's father, an event took place 1 month earlier that darkened his opinion of Dominic.
Dad, I need help.
Honey, what is it?
She called her parents. She's upset. She's screaming.
Someone threw a brick at my car.
Who? Anna? Who?
Dominic.
The great relationship that they had started to go south.
Dominic had a short fuse emotionally.
He was increasingly demanding of her time, jealous of her friendships, and threatened her physically.
According to Anna's father, the reason Dominic threw the brick through their family's van window was simple. Anna had decided to put an end to the relationship.
I love you, but I don't think this is going to work.
What's that supposed to mean?
They were fighting a lot, and she had tried to break up with him.
Dom, where are you going?
He gets really upset.
You know what? Go to hell.
Dom,
As he's exiting the car, he grabs a brick.
what are you doing?
And he threw a brick at her car window, shattering the window.
Stop!
She's immediately afraid. She's upset. She drives off to a strip mall to get away from the scene.
Why would he do that? Why?
Stay there. I'm gonna come get you.
Anna's father tells police that while Anna initially reported the incident to police, she got cold feet when it came time to press charges. According to Mr. List, in the weeks that followed, he and Anna's mother tried to help their daughter move on. But Anna quickly drifted back to Dominic.
Anna, honey,
Yes.
we want to talk to you.
Sweetheart, we're worried about you.
It just pushed her closer to him.
Okay, you guys are totally overreacting.
You don't have to answer that, Anna.
Daddy is fine. I'm gonna go and take this outside. Dom? Yeah, I can totally come and get you.
At a certain point, her parents just finally gave up and realized they weren't going to win the fight.
With Mr. List's statement, investigators are increasingly anxious to speak with Dominic Oyerinde to see if he, not Jake Thomas, may be behind the crime.
So if what Jake is saying is true, Dominic is probably rolling around in the List family van, which is technically stolen. And if he's not the killer, he probably knows who is.
It's more pressing than ever that authorities speak with Dominic Oyerinde.
That morning, police issue an APB for 20-year-old Dominic Oyerinde and the List family van. But as they try to determine whether or not Dominic was capable of committing such a violent crime, investigators are forced to ask some difficult questions. Questions that will leave the quiet community of Ann Arbor divided.
I don't think there's a real true one answer of how to make sense of what happened.
Just hours after 17-year-old Anna List is found beaten to the brink of death in Ypsilanti, Michigan, police have questioned one possible suspect, Jake Thomas, and are on the hunt for another, Anna's missing boyfriend, Dominic Oyerinde.
They had reason to believe that Dominic had assaulted Anna that night.
At the very least, authorities believe Dominic is in possession of the List family minivan, the vehicle Anna had been driving just prior to being assaulted.
We knew that he was possibly in that vehicle. We had to be on the lookout for other police department agents for that vehicle.
As the search for the missing minivan continues, police begin questioning Dominic's friends about his possible whereabouts. Most of them express disbelief that he could be involved in such a heinous crime.
When I heard about the incident, I couldn't possibly have believed that was him.
I wouldn't portray him as a violent person. Dominic's a really fun-loving person.
But as investigators dig deeper, a more complex portrait of Dominic begins to emerge.
So what can you tell us about Dominic?
Dominic, he's a really great guy. He is.
Just what?
He's had a really hard time, you know?
I don't know exactly what his mental health diagnosis is, but I do know that he has mental problems from a lot of the stuff that's happened to him.
He's going to lots of different therapists over the years.
He was a pretty paranoid person. He had endured years of abuse while being raised in the foster care system. It can cause all kinds of fears of abandonment and really just a general lack of trust.
Friends and loved ones say the situation was so bad that Dominic had been known to take antipsychotics to control his demons. But when the pain became too much, Dominic sometimes added alcohol and recreational drugs to the mix.
I can imagine that a combination of anti-psych meds, recreational drugs, probably alcohol, that would be hard to control a level of sanity with that.
And some, like Dominic's ex-roommate Marie, say they had seen Dominic cross a terrifying line on at least one occasion.
I was in the bathtub and he was freaking out and I was just like, I'm just gonna go deal with this. And there was all this calamity outside with him.
You're racist!
According to Marie, as she entered the living room to see what the commotion was about, Dominic confronted her about an ironic, politically charged piece of art a friend had made her.
I just had like this picture that one of my friends drew that had a swastika on it and he was upset about that. And he was like, you're racist.
You admit you're a racist.
No, it's nothing. I'm not.
Why would you have that here then?
Calm down. The artwork mocked swastikas and Nazis, but Dominic was messed up on drugs. He didn't see it that way. All he saw was rage, blind rage against his roommate.
He freaked out. He actually tried to strangle me. And I could see that he wasn't really himself. You just look and there's someone else there.
So this sounds like disassociation. In this mental state, a person isn't necessarily consciously aware of what's going on. It's sort of a survival mechanism for people who've experienced trauma, but it can also be very dangerous for those close to the person.
Luckily for Marie, Dominic finally snapped back to reality.
What the hell?
He was distracted because I wasn't wearing anything.
Put some clothes on.
And confused enough that he was like, this is weird, and left.
For investigators, Marie's statement, combined with the details of his earlier attack on Anna's family van, moves Dominic Oyorinde to the top of the suspect list.
While Jake Thomas behaved erratically and the story he told had some oddities about it, he really didn't have the same signs of violence that Dominic had in his past.
I think he cared about her, but Dominic is just a really fearful person, and all that stuff kind of coalesced.
He probably just blacked out like he did with me, but he didn't get back to reality.
If Dominic is as unbalanced as his friends believe, the need to find him is more pressing than ever. Thankfully, less than 24 hours later, police in Detroit spot a vehicle that matches the description of the stolen minivan. They run the plates and get a hit.
2 patrol officers had spotted the List family van and pulled it over.
Detroit police found the van, and it was being driven by Dominic.
Though Dominic is taken into custody without incident, when he's transferred to Ypsilanti police for questioning, the cooperation comes to a halt.
He chose to enforce his Miranda rights and decided not to make a statement.
Later that day, Dominic Oyorinde is charged with carjacking and assault with the intent to commit murder.
He was held on a $2 million cash bond.
It was a huge relief that he was off the street, but everybody was holding their breath for Anna.
I was relieved. It's a lot of work to try to track these things down. And if you can resolve it for the victims' families, it's a huge load off.
While justice seems within reach, another development was about to ratchet up the stakes even more. And they're beyond anyone's worst imaginations.
What happened was a tragedy beyond words.
2 days after allegedly assaulting his girlfriend, Anna List, in a late-night rage, Dominic Oyorinde is behind bars in Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Dominic was charged with assault with the intent to commit murder.
With Anna still fighting for her life, support floods in from surrounding communities.
There were numerous people in prayers for Anna, hoping that she could perhaps make a miraculous recovery.
In these difficult days, one frequent visitor to Anna's hospital room is responding officer Brooke Mullender.
I would periodically go up to the hospital and try to check on her, see if she was having any kind of improvements.
In fact, Officer Mullender discovered she and Anna shared a personal connection prior to the attack.
When I found the victim, I didn't recognize her, but I had met her and her family just a few weeks before, after she was involved in a domestic violence case with Dominic. So obviously it felt a little bit closer to me. When I took this case, I never thought that I would ever find her in the position that she was. But domestic violence relationship can escalate. That's why you have to take them all with high importance.
But despite round-the-clock medical care, Anna List never recovers from her injuries.
We had learned that Anna was not going to be getting better.
She was declared brain dead at that point.
On January 19th, 2009, Anna's family makes the heart-wrenching choice to remove her from life support.
This was a very painful decision.
News of Anna's death brings an outpouring of grief from community members and law enforcement officers alike.
She was so smart. She had such a bright future. It's just such a tragically sad story.
With Anna's passing, prosecutors upped the charges against Dominic Oyorinde.
So now it goes from being an assault to being a murder case.
While the prosecution prepares for trial, Ypsilanti police continue building their case against Dominic. They start with the potential murder weapon.
Anna's father told us he had tools in that van and was missing a hammer. And actually, he was able to describe the hammer, where he obtained it, and there were items, a sticker, that made it unique.
When temperatures rise unexpectedly in February and the snow begins to melt, detectives return to the scene of the crime to search for the missing hammer.
They actually found the claw-type hammer sticking out from what snow was left.
The hammer fits the description provided by Anna List's father.
Everything matched up. There's thousands of hammers out there, so it was a very important piece.
In addition to matching the description provided by Anna List's father, the hammer contains other critical evidence.
On the hammer, they could see there's blood.
Investigators send the hammer to the Michigan State Police lab for processing, along with the shoes found in the snow the night of the attack. On October 27, 2009, the DNA analysis is complete.
It was Anna's blood on the hammer, and we know that this was the weapon that was used to attack Anna. The only question now was it Dominic that used it?
A closer look at the high-top sneakers found at the scene provides an answer to that question.
The shoes come back to having his DNA and her blood on them.
I was really proud that everybody did their part, because it takes a team of officers and they never gave up. Everybody that's been in this business long enough knows, but when you persevere, luck kind of has a way of showing up.
But despite investigators' hard work, there's growing concerns that Dominic may never see the inside of a courtroom. Defense attorney Tim Neiman asks the court to evaluate his client's mental competence to stand trial.
There were a few occasions where some of his physical movements of the courtroom might be described as a little bizarre. They just seem to come out of nowhere. That's what led me to file 2 different petitions asking the judge to refer Dominic to the Center for Forensic Psychiatry.
After reviewing the psychiatrist's evaluations, the court makes its determination.
Dominic is competent to stand trial.
On March 8, 2010, in the Washtenaw County Courthouse, the trial of Dominic Oyorinde finally begins. In their opening statements, prosecutors portrayed Dominic as a violent young man, hell-bent on controlling every aspect of Anna List's life.
Anna had already tried to break up with him once before. That time he acted violently to try to keep her in his grip. This time, no. Things spiraled out of control.
Prosecutors argue that on the night of the crime, Anna arrived at Elena Jenkins' home around 12:30 and attempted to calm Dominic down about the loss of his cell phone.
What's wrong? What happened?
Somebody took my phone, okay?
Prosecutors claim that despite Anna's efforts to help Dominic, he became increasingly agitated with her.
Why'd you take so long to get here?
Because it's snowing outside.
You can't drive faster?
No one knows exactly what the argument was over. I mean, she could have said, this is it. We're over once and for all.
Rich! Rich!
My family's right. We shouldn't be together.
Where are you going?
Prosecutors assert that after Anna exited the vehicle, Dominic followed her, grabbed a hammer from the rear of the vehicle, and chased after her on foot.
Where are you going? Slow down!
Stop!
Anna walks eastbound. The defendant walks eastbound with her. As they're walking eastbound, we have an ongoing argument. No, Dominic, leave me alone. No, you're going to do this for me. He's armed with a hammer. No, Dominic, I'm not. We're done. But that is just not acceptable to the defendant.
You're acting crazy!
Don't call me crazy!
He struck her once in the back of the head and then struck her again in front of the head.
Either blow was strong enough to kill her.
The viciousness of the attack was shocking to most people in the courtroom. It made for a very, very strong case.
The defense did attempt to use Dominic's mental health issues to show that the murder wasn't premeditated in order to get the charges reduced, but it was tough for them to gain any traction.
On March 12, 2010, Dominic Oyorinde is found guilty of felony murder and carjacking. 26 days later, during the sentencing phase, Anna's father delivers an impassioned address to the court.
Dear Anna, for 17 years and 357 days, I told her stories, I taught her to swim, and listened as she practiced violin. She created harmony. She embodied compassion. She was taken away with neither.
After listening to Anna's father, the judge sentences Dominic Oyorinde to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It's a sentence well deserved. I was satisfied that we did our part for Anna's family. At least that gives some kind of closure.
But no one touched by this tragedy will ever forget the heartbreaking story of Dominic Oyorinde and Anna List, two star-crossed lovers who fate brought together and jealousy tore apart.
If he did it, you can strip it down to Dominic made a bad choice and ended up where he is, if you want to. But I don't think that's productive. I think it's productive to look at why Dominic became this person that he became, such as the way that we treat people in foster care, the way we treat the mentally ill, cause things like this to happen. And they will happen less as soon as we start to address those concerns.
Anna was someone that really had a lot of unbound potential. And for her life to be snuffed out in such a brutal way and in such a seemingly senseless way was very tragic for this community.
There were warning signs that the relationship was unhealthy. It's really important for people to take a hard, objective look at their relationships that they're in and just making sure that they're keeping themselves safe.